Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump's spunky press secretary / loyal sycophant, is trending today because she held her first White House press conference, and it was a tapestry of orchestrated sensationalism, lies, and non-answers that was punctuated by a very hasty dash for the door after attacking Joe Biden, and I have all the details for you next. To remove any doubt that the press conference was being held within the confines of Trump's White House circus, Brian Glenn, a host with the far-right outlet Real America's Voice and boyfriend of Marjorie Taylor Greene, gave something to Leavitt that Sean Spicer never received, a weird compliment about her appearance, followed by a glowing compliment for Trump disguised as a question. Have a listen to the oddness.
Yes. Welcome. You look great. You're doing a great job. You talked about transparency, and some of us in this room know how just transparent President Trump has been the last 5 or 6 years. I think you'll do the same. My question is, do you think this latest incident with the president of Colombia is indicative of the global powerful respect they have for President Trump moving forward, not only to engage in economic diplomacy with these countries, but also world peace?
Absolutely.
Since it was a fake question, let's skip the predictable answer and move on to her attempt to spin one of Trump's big lies, a briefing room tradition. Watch as a reporter asks her about Trump's claim that the United States military just entered the great state of California and under emergency powers turned on the water. Watch as her answer leaves out all the details that Trump set up because, of course, it was a blatant lie.
On California, could you please clarify what the military did with the water last night as referenced in the president's Truth Social post?
The water has been turned back on in California, and this comes just days after President Trump visited Pacific Palisades, and as you all saw, applied tremendous pressure on state and local officials in Pacific Palisades, including Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, to turn on the water and to direct that water to places in the south and in the middle of the state that have been incredibly dry, which has led to the expansion, the rapid expansion of these fires.
And just one more clip before I show the moment she made the dash for the door. Watch as she makes a bizarre claim that Joe Biden funded condoms for Gaza to the tune of $50 million.
DOJ and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on, being good stewards of tax dollars.
$50 million worth of condom aid for a population of 1 million adults is quite a claim, and I will reserve my thoughts on that dubious story until the end. For now, let's watch as Leavitt wraps up the press briefing with a carefully prepared answer on the price of eggs question that she anticipated, an answer that includes a kneecapping of Joe Biden, followed by a quick getaway.
Just real quick, you mentioned the inflation executive order the president signed, but egg prices have skyrocketed since President Trump took office. So what specifically is he doing to lower those costs for Americans?
Really glad you brought this up, because there is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration. As far as the egg shortage, what's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage. So I will leave you with this point. This is an example of why it's so incredibly important that the Senate moves swiftly to confirm all of President Trump's nominees, including his nominee for the United States Department of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who is already speaking with Kevin Hassett, who's leading the economic team here at the White House, on how we can address the egg shortage in this country. As for costs, I laid out the plethora of ways that President Trump has addressed saving costs for the American people over the past week. He looks forward to continuing to doing that in the days ahead. Thank you.
And now let's talk about eggs and condoms because, hey, why not? It's funny that Trump's rhetoric around grocery prices on the campaign trail is now coming back to haunt him because of the sensational promises he made like this that he cannot possibly fulfill.
When you buy eggs, they would double and triple the price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that. We're going to bring those prices way down.
Starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again.
As for condoms in Gaza, I don't know what the real story is there, and I'm sure the truth will come out in the days to come. But I do know that in a Trump White House, people like Levitt have to participate in both crafting and defending the Trump lies. My guess is the condom in this story will be like the Delta smelt fish in the Trump California wildfire story. Trump is famous for taking something that is remotely adjacent to a story and making that the story, and then he surely laughs as the media chases their collective tails in trying to report the made-up nonsense. That is his superpower, and Caroline Levitt just demonstrated that she is more than capable of communicating and defending his lies, and you can count on her doing so in the 4 years to come. And I will give Brian Stelter of CNN the final word. I think you'll enjoy his blistering review of her exaggerated and tactical theater.
This theater review is obvious. Taking it as theater first, move over Sean Hannity. President Trump has a new #1 publicist, right? The TV president has just minted a new TV star. Did you notice also that she dangled some news at the beginning? This is a Trump tactic. She literally dangled a shiny object in front of the press corps saying the drone panic in the Northeast was actually just researchers and hobbyists who were flying FAA-approved drones. Now, I'll just say as a New Jersey resident with my hobbyist drone right here, a lot of people still very skeptical about that explanation. But listen, that was a distraction. There are so many more important points, and we need to watch for those distractions in the coming months. Levitt exaggerated, just like her boss, right? She claimed he has an overwhelming mandate. The results of the election don't show that. She also insulted former President Joe Biden in a very personal way. I think some of her predecessors in the job probably cringed when she did that. But she views the job differently. She is there for an audience of one, and in that way, it was incredibly effective. But maybe the most important question was shouted at the end. Did you catch it? One of the reporters tried to ask, is the Medicare portal down in all 50 states? This is an emergency right now affecting millions of Americans who are worried about their finances, about their welfare, and she didn't have answers. She essentially said, we'll get back to you. Trust us. We're going to figure it out.